Life rewards the person who takes control of their own path. Too many people live for others. They chase approval, give their energy freely, and sacrifice their priorities for temporary comfort. This is the road to frustration, exhaustion, and invisibility. The truth is simple. If you do not put yourself first, no one else will. Power, influence, and respect begin with self-priority. They begin with understanding that your mind, your energy, and your time are your most valuable resources, and protecting them is non-negotiable. Putting yourself first is not selfishness, it is strategy. It is the foundation of strength that allows every other success in life to follow. When you place yourself at the center of your decisions, your actions become intentional, your energy becomes concentrated. Your vision becomes clear. You move through the world with focus, discipline, and authority. People notice this power immediately, even if it is silent, even if it is subtle, spend their lives reacting. They respond to the demands of others, give away their time to those who take it for granted, and sacrifice their clarity for the result. They become exhausted, frustrated, and overlooked. Putting yourself first is the only way to break that cycle. It is how you gain control over your life, how you preserve your energy, and how you command respect without asking for it. This video, you will discover 10 secret laws of power that reveal why prioritizing yourself is the key to influence and lasting respect. Each principle is designed to strengthen your mind, protect your energy, and sharpen your focus, so you can move through life with authority. When you embrace these laws, you stop being reactive, you stop seeking permission, and you start living intentionally. This is not theory. These are the strategies that define winners, leaders, and those who shape their own destiny. By putting yourself first, you gain clarity in a chaotic world, power in a distracted world, and respect in a world that often ignores weakness. Everything you accomplish, every influence you exert, begins with the decision to prioritize yourself. Self-preservation is not just a principle, it is the core of living a strong, purposeful life. To survive, to grow, and to thrive, you must put yourself first. The world does not pause for anyone, and it certainly does not protect those who do not protect themselves. If you constantly give your time, energy, and attention to others at the expense of your own well-being, you will wake up exhausted, frustrated, and directionless. People will take what you offer freely without gratitude, and circumstances will demand more than you can give. That is the reality you must face. Protecting yourself starts with your mind. Every thought, every emotion, every influence you allow into your life shapes your decisions. Some people speak only to confuse you. Some situations exist only to distract you. If your mind is unguarded, you lose clarity, and without clarity, power slips through your fingers. You cannot lead, you cannot grow, and you cannot influence the world effectively if your mental state is scattered. Guard your attention. Choose what you think about. Decide whose opinions hold weight. Protecting your mind is the first step in protecting yourself. Your energy is equally valuable. You are not a resource to be drained. Conversations, obligations, and even environments can exhaust you without you noticing. When energy is wasted, emotions spiral, motivation falters, and confidence weakens. When you preserve your energy, you move through life with focus and intention. You can give when it matters, but you refuse to give when it diminishes you. That distinction separates the strong from the weak, the respected from the overlooked. Time once lost never returns. It is the most precise measure of self-preservation. People and opportunities will demand your attention constantly. If you allow every call, every request, and every expectation to steal your time, your life becomes fragmented. Time protected is power gained. It allows you to plan, to reflect, to act strategically instead of reacting. It allows you to build the life you want instead of endlessly responding to the lives of others. Self-preservation also teaches you restraint and patience. By valuing yourself, you stop reacting impulsively to every situation, every provocation, and every demand. You stop giving explanations when none are required. You stop bending to please others. You stop chasing validation. This is not arrogance, it is clarity, it is focus, it is strength. A person who preserves themselves moves with intention, speaks with authority, and acts with precision. Their life is centered, not scattered. Respect comes naturally to those who protect themselves. People sense strength, calm, and purpose. They feel the difference between someone giving freely from abundance and someone giving out of desperation. A person who prioritizes themselves first does not need constant approval, praise, or permission. Their presence commands attention simply because they stand steady in their own life. This stability is magnetic. It draws opportunity, trust, and influence. Without it, even talent, skill, and effort can be wasted. Self-preservation is not about selfishness or isolation. It is about choice and control. You decide who has access to your mind, your body, and your time. You decide what to accept and what to reject. You decide when to engage and when to step back. Every choice you make in preserving yourself strengthens your ability to act decisively and live freely. By protecting your core, you protect your future, you protect your dreams, you protect your life. Strength begins with self-preservation. Everything else flows from it. Your relationships, your work, your influence, and your peace are all built on the foundation of protecting yourself. When you honor your own needs and boundaries first, you move through the world with confidence instead of fear, clarity instead of chaos, and control instead of drift. To live fully, to lead effectively, and to leave a mark on the world, you cannot start by living for everyone else. You start by standing for yourself. Protect your mind. Guard your energy. Value your time. Make self-preservation a law in your life. When you do, the world begins to respect you naturally. Doors open without begging, and power comes not through aggression but through grounded strength. This is where every real path to influence and freedom begins. Never sacrifice power for approval. Approval is temporary. Power is lasting. People will praise you one moment and criticize you the next. If your decisions depend on others' opinions, you give them control over your life. When you prioritize approval, you weaken your influence, lose confidence, and waste energy trying to please instead of lead. True strength comes from making choices that align with your goals and values, even if it upsets others. Respect follows clarity and consistency, not flattery. Choosing power over approval means you focus on what matters, protect your position, and move forward without distraction. Approval fades, but the strength you build lasts forever. Your energy is your most valuable resource. Every conversation, every obligation, and every distraction drains it. Protect it. Guard your focus, your emotions, and your attention. When your energy is scattered, your decisions are weak, your mind is clouded, and your life feels heavy. Conserve your energy for what matters. Invest it in growth, action, and people who lift you. Say no to what drains you. Step away from what diminishes you. The stronger your energy, the clearer your mind, the sharper your focus, and the greater your influence. Energy spent wisely multiplies power. Energy wasted diminishes everything. Guard it fiercely. Detaching from emotional manipulation is essential to maintaining clarity and control in your life. People will try to influence you, not always with honesty, but with tactics designed to make you react, doubt yourself, or surrender your energy. This is not always obvious. Sometimes it comes as guilt, subtle pressure, flattery, or fear. Other times it's anger, intimidation, or constant insistence. If you allow it, these manipulations chip away at your focus, your confidence, and your power. Recognizing them is the first step. Detaching from them is the second and far more important step. Emotional manipulation works because it exploits our natural need for acceptance, understanding, or peace. When someone knows your triggers, your insecurities, your fears, your desires, they can push them to get what they want. And many people will, often without conscious awareness, take advantage of your care, patience, or trust. This is why detachment is not just a defensive measure, it is a proactive strategy. It allows you to preserve your mental clarity and emotional energy, so your decisions are made from reason and purpose, not reaction and impulse. Detachment does not mean ignoring or hating people. It means observing without surrendering control. It means recognizing attempts to influence you emotionally, then choosing your response carefully. It means pausing before reacting, assessing the situation and asking, does this serve me or does it serve them? The ability to pause and choose protects you from being drained, manipulated, or controlled. It allows you to act intentionally instead of being pushed by the emotional whims of others. Some manipulation is subtle. A colleague might hint at your supposed weakness to sway a decision. A friend might guilt you into doing something that benefits them. Even loved ones can use emotional tactics, knowingly or unknowingly, to pull you off course. Detachment gives you the power to see through these tactics without anger or resentment. It allows you to protect yourself, maintain your priorities, and focus on what truly matters. Detachment also strengthens your influence. When people realize their emotional tactics do not work on you, your presence commands respect. You are no longer an easy target. You are no longer reactive. You are steady, composed, and in control. This calmness is magnetic. It draws trust, loyalty, and alignment from people who matter, and naturally filters out those who would drain or exploit you. Emotional manipulation often triggers strong reactions: anger, frustration, doubt, or anxiety. Detachment teaches you to separate your feelings from their attempts to control you. You do not ignore your emotions, but you do not let them dictate your choices. You recognize them, feel them, and move forward with awareness. This is not passive, it is the foundation of true strength. It allows you to act from clarity, preserve your energy, and maintain direction even when others are trying to derail you. Detaching from manipulation also protects your future. Every decision made under emotional pressure has consequences. Every action taken to satisfy someone else's agenda compromises your growth, focus, or power. By detaching, you ensure your choices serve your life, your goals, and your vision. You move with purpose rather than reaction, clarity rather than confusion, and strength rather than weakness. To detach, start by observing patterns. Notice who pressures you, how they do it, and when it works. Set boundaries and hold them firmly. Pause before responding. Ask yourself whether the request or action aligns with your values and goals. Over time, detachment becomes instinctive. You no longer react automatically. You choose with authority. You protect your energy, your mind, and your power. Detachment is not coldness. It is discipline. It is control. It is the ability to preserve yourself in a world full of demands, distractions, and pressures. When mastered, it transforms your interactions, your decisions, and your life. You become steady in the storm. You become untouchable, and in that steadiness you gain clarity, influence, and freedom that others will never take from you. No one respects the selfless weak. Generosity and kindness are powerful, but when they come from weakness, they become invisible. The world notices action, results, and presence, not constant self-sacrifice. A person who gives endlessly, who bends to everyone's demands, who prioritizes others over themselves, is rarely valued. People see them as predictable, exploitable, and unassertive. Power is not built through selflessness that erodes your position. It is built through intentional action, discipline, and strength. Being selfless without strength, When you constantly place others' needs above your own, you train people to expect it. You condition them to take without giving respect in return. Over time, your effort is assumed, your sacrifices are taken for granted, and your voice becomes optional. Weakness masquerading as generosity is ignored, dismissed, or even exploited. People will never respect a person who does not first respect themselves. True respect comes from balance. You can be kind, helpful, and considerate, but only when your strength is clear. Selflessness must come from abundance, not from emptiness. When your actions originate from power, clarity, and control, generosity becomes a tool of influence, not a liability. People respect those who give from a position of authority because it demonstrates discipline, choice, and self-command. When they see that your focus is intentional and that your resources are protected, they treat your time, energy, and effort differently. The weak, selfless person is reactive. They say yes out of fear, obligation, or guilt. Their generosity is never a choice. It is a requirement dictated by their own inability to enforce boundaries. They overextend themselves emotionally, physically, and mentally, leaving no energy to pursue their goals or maintain their priorities. Exhaustion becomes their constant companion, and resentment slowly replaces joy. Meanwhile, those who exploit them move forward with confidence, leaving the weak, selfless person unnoticed, frustrated, and powerless. Strength transforms selflessness into respect. It allows you to act generously without compromising your position. You can help, serve, and contribute, but only in ways that align with your purpose and reinforce your power. This does not require arrogance. It requires awareness and discipline. You give because you choose to give, not because someone demands it. You give because it serves your values and your influence, not because it fills a void in someone else's life. Respect is not automatic. It must be earned through consistency, presence, and the ability to enforce limits. People notice a strong person who acts selflessly differently than a weak person who does the same. Strength commands attention. Weakness invites exploitation. The person who respects themselves sets the standard for how others should behave. They are clear about their boundaries, intentional in their actions, and disciplined in their choices. This clarity is magnetic. People recognize it instinctively and adjust their behavior accordingly. Selflessness without struggle. It teaches others that your value is measured by what you give them, not who you are. Strength ensures that your value is recognized independently of what you offer. It transforms every act of service into a display of discipline, choice, and power. It shows that you are not desperate for approval or validation, but deliberate in every interaction. To be respected, prioritize yourself first, build your skills, protect your energy, and maintain clarity in your actions. Only then can selflessness become meaningful. When strength supports generosity, your presence commands respect. People will seek your attention, honor your decisions, and value your contributions. The weak, selfless fade into the background. The strong, selfless stand at the center of influence. Boundaries create. They are not walls to keep people out. They are lines that define where your control begins and ends. Without boundaries, your time, energy, and focus are at the mercy of others. You are constantly reacting, constantly adjusting, constantly giving away pieces of yourself without thought. Authority is not about intimidation. It is about clarity, consistency, and the ability to manage yourself and your life. Boundaries are the most visible expression of that power. A person without boundaries is easy to manipulate. Requests, demands, and opinions shape their decisions. They spend their energy on distractions, pleasing others, and maintaining approval instead of pursuing goals. People who lack limits often feel drained, overwhelmed, and resentful. Their influence fades because they cannot control themselves, and without self-control, no one respects or follows you. Boundaries are not optional, they are essential. They show the world that your time, energy, and presence are valuable. and they communicate that you operate on your terms. Creating boundaries, you must know what matters to you, what you will tolerate, and what you will refuse. Each boundary you set is a declaration. Your life belongs to you, and you will not sacrifice your priorities for convenience, pressure, or manipulation. Saying no does not make you selfish, it makes you disciplined. It demonstrates that you are intentional about how you spend your energy and that you do not give away what is not yours to give. Boundaries also clarify. When people understand your limits, they know how to engage with you, and this reduces conflict, frustration, and wasted effort. Clear boundaries create respect because they establish that your presence is valuable and that your influence cannot be taken lightly. People instinctively adjust to those who maintain their limits because authority is attractive. It communicates confidence and control without requiring loudness or domination. Authority grows when boundaries are consistent. One inconsistent boundary invites confusion, exploitation, and disrespect. Consistency shows that you are reliable, disciplined, and deliberate. People will test limits, but those who maintain them firmly earn trust and recognition. They do not act out of fear or aggression. They act from clarity and purpose. Authority is not demanded. It is earned through actions that show strength and self-command. Boundaries protect more than energy. They protect focus. When you define what is acceptable and what is not, you create space to prioritize growth, creativity, and progress. Distractions, unnecessary demands, and manipulation are filtered out, leaving room for intentional action. People respect those who can manage themselves because they project stability, control, and reliability. Boundaries become a magnet for alignment. Those who respect your limits rise to match them. Those who do not naturally fall away. Authority is not a title or a position, it is a presence. It is a sense that you are in control of your life and that your choices are deliberate. Boundaries amplify that presence. They allow you to operate without chaos, to move without interference, and to act without hesitation. They signal to the world that you value yourself, your time, and your energy, and that others must treat you accordingly. Boundaries create clarity for both yourself and others. They simplify decisions, reduce conflict, and protect your resources. They make your life predictable, focused, and disciplined. In a world where attention is constantly demanded and energy constantly drained, boundaries are a form of power. They define your authority, protect your position, and allow you to operate with calm confidence. Every boundary you set strengthens your influence and ensures that your life moves according to your priorities, not the expectations of others. Controlling access to you is one of the most overlooked forms of power. The way people interact with you, the time they spend with you, and the attention they demand from you all have consequences. Every encounter carries energy, influence, and potential. When you allow everyone to have unlimited access, your life becomes fragmented. Your focus is diluted, and your decisions are weakened. Controlling access is not about arrogance or isolation. It is about protecting your priorities and maximizing your impact. People naturally demand attention. Friends, colleagues, family, and even strangers often assume your time and presence are freely available. Many do not consider the cost of their requests or the impact of their presence. If you do not control access, you become a servant to others' schedules, moods, and agendas. Your life starts to feel scattered, and the most important things, your growth, your goals, your energy, are pushed aside. When you control access, you reclaim your time, your space, and your influence. Control begins with intention. You must define who deserves your time and under what circumstances. Not every conversation, meeting, or interaction warrants your energy. Some people bring value, perspective, and alignment with your purpose. Others bring noise, distraction, and emotional drain. Treat your presence as a resource. Give it where it creates impact and reserve it where it matters most. This is not selfishness, it is strategic strength. Limiting access communicates authority. People sense when someone is selective with their time. It signals that you have priorities, standards, and discipline. When others understand that your attention is valuable and not guaranteed, they adjust their approach. They respect your boundaries, your focus, and your presence. This creates a natural hierarchy where your influence is recognized and your time is honored. People who respect your control rise to match it. Those who do not are filtered out. Controlling access also preserves clarity. Every interaction you allow has consequences. Constant interruptions, demands, or exposure to unnecessary opinions clutter your mind and weaken decision-making. By choosing who and what to engage with, you maintain focus, reduce mental noise, and operate with precision. Your energy is directed toward what aligns with your goals, not what distracts you. Every deliberate pause, every controlled interaction is a step toward greater influence. This principle extends beyond people. Access includes information, opportunities, and obligations. Not everything deserves your attention. Not every trend, debate, or demand warrants involvement. Curating what enters your life protects your capacity to act, think, and create. Control access to your environment as carefully as you control access to your time. This ensures your actions are deliberate and your presence remains grounded. There is also power in scarcity. When you make your presence rare and intentional, people value it more. They pay attention, they listen, and they respect the time and energy you provide. Giving everything freely dilutes influence. Being intentional creates impact. You do not need to be everywhere or respond to everything. You need only to be where your influence matters most. Mastering access. It requires awareness of who and what deserves your attention, clarity on your priorities, and courage to enforce limits. Those who cannot control access become reactive, scattered, and easily influenced. Those who do maintain focus, preserve energy, and operate with steady authority. Your life, your power, and your influence are all strengthened by the simple practice of controlling access. Building yourself before serving others is not selfish. It is strategic. Too many people give their time, energy, and attention to everyone else while neglecting their own growth. They hope that service alone will earn respect, influence, or opportunity, but without a strong foundation, service is hollow. It is ineffective, it is unnoticed. Strength, clarity, and personal development must come first. Only when you are complete, disciplined, and capable can your actions truly impact the world. Focusing on yourself first allows you to become a person of substance. You cultivate skills, develop knowledge, and strengthen your mind, body, and spirit. These are the tools that make your contributions meaningful. When you are fully built, your work carries weight. Your words carry authority. Your presence commands attention. People notice when someone is prepared, capable, and confident. They do not notice desperation or unpreparedness. They do not follow those who are scattered or incomplete. Building yourself also protects your energy. Giving without foundation drains you. It leaves you reactive, anxious, and frustrated. By investing in yourself first, you develop reserves of energy, focus, and clarity. You can engage with the world intentionally rather than constantly responding to the demands of others. Your actions become deliberate and your presence becomes reliable. Strength supports generosity, making it respected instead of exploited. Personal development also. The more capable, knowledgeable, and disciplined you are, the more influence you carry when you do serve others. People value contributions that come from skill and experience rather than desperation or obligation. Authority is earned when your ability is evident. Serving without building yourself first only creates dependence on approval, while building yourself first creates independence, respect, and influence. This principle requires patience and discipline. It is not a shortcut. It is a commitment to long-term growth over immediate validation. Every skill learned, every habit strengthened, and every boundary enforced compounds over time. By focusing on your development first, you create a foundation that supports sustainable influence, impact, and respect. When you are ready, your service becomes powerful because it comes from abundance, not depletion. Serve the world only after you have built yourself. Your efforts will be respected, your presence valued, and your impact multiplied. Without building yourself first, service can go unnoticed, unappreciated, or even counterproductive. Strength and preparation are the prerequisites for meaningful contribution, and they form the core of lasting influence.